Okay, close your eyes for a second and imagine a sudden, total, global internet blackout. Like zero streaming, no digital silence. You'd probably look up at the sky, right? Trying to figure out if a satellite just went down. But I'm going to tease you right now as we get into this. The real culprit wouldn't be floating up in orbit at all.
And that right there shatters this huge, widespread misconception that we all
Most of
have.
us
Picture satellites beaming our emails and videos down from the stars. But the reality? The actual physical backbone of the internet, the very thing keeping our modern society online, is lying completely silent at the absolute bottom of the ocean. It's not up in the clouds, it's underwater.
Just look at this breakdown. A staggering 99.1% of international internet traffic travels through underwater cables. That leaves a tiny, almost rounding error level 0.9% for satellites. We are talking about trillions of dollars of information, financial trades, sensitive corporate data, military communications flowing ocean every single day. Without this hidden network, the world as we know it would just instantly grind to a halt.
Now, when we say undersea or some giant, hollow copper pipe, we are actually talking about microscopic, hair-thin strands of glass. They shoot pulses of light to transmit data at basically the speed of light itself. But, the ocean floor is a completely brutal environment. So those fragile little glass strands, they have to be wrapped up and protected by insanely heavy layers of steel armor, thick plastic, and heavy-duty waterproof insulation. It's this wild clash between something incredibly delicate and destructible.
And the sheer scale of this infrastructure, it is totally mind-bending. Some of these fragile-looking cables stretch for more than 10,000 miles across the abyssal plains of the ocean, just for continents. I mean, it's one thing to run a fiber cable down your street. It is an entirely different universe of engineering to lay a continuous, uninterrupted line of glass all the way from California. To really appreciate how wild this whole thing is, you got to think about the bizarre hazards these cables have to survive down there in the dark. We aren't just talking about the crushing pressure of millions of gallons of salt water. These things have to withstand deep-sea earthquakes, massive underwater landslides, and, get this, even shark bites. Yeah, sharks have actually been known to chew on these cables. Honestly, it's a miracle they work at all, given what they are up against. Which naturally brings us to a literal multi-billion-dollar question. With those kinds of extreme deep-sea risks and price tags running into the hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, for a single cable, paying for this? Who funds this massive underwater network? You'd probably assume it's the government or maybe the military, right? Well, the answer is actually the giants of the tech world. Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, working alongside major global telecoms. They are the ones footing the bill. And why? Because every single time you fire up YouTube or back up your entire life's photos to the cloud, that data has to cross oceans. Without immense, perfectly reliable bandwidth, all their services would buffer, lag, and become totally unusable. Their multi-trillion-dollar business models depend entirely on the speed of these underwater glass threads.
And here is where the economics of it all get truly fascinating. Think of this infrastructure like a giant digital highway. Instead of just renting bandwidth from other telecom companies forever, these tech giants decided, hey, let's just build or co-own the cables ourselves. Doing this drastically lowers their long-term operating costs and gives them absolute control over their network routing. Essentially, they are acting as toll collectors on an exclusive high-speed digital highway that they built from scratch.
So you might be wondering, who exactly is paying those tolls? Well, you've got internet service providers, mobile phone companies, giant multinational banks, governments, and massive streaming platforms. They are buying up capacity on these cables, often locking into these 10, 15, or even 20-year contracts. This means that as global internet traffic inevitably grows year after year, this incredibly predictable, locked-in revenue stream makes the network exponentially more valuable over time. It is a brilliant, entirely hidden economic engine. But of course, actually cashing in on that sweet revenue stream means you have to build the thing first, and that is a monumental feat. Engineers don't just toss a wire off the back of a boat and call it a day. No, they spend years meticulously studying and mapping the ocean floor, intentionally avoiding active underwater volcanoes, extremely deep trenches, and active fault lines. Only after years of planning does a specialized, very slow-moving ship head out to painstakingly drop the cable onto the seabed mile by agonizing mile. And they have to be that careful because once it's down there, damage is an absolute disaster. In shallow water, you have everyday hazards, right? Things like fishing boats dragging heavy anchors or powerful ocean storms exposing buried lines. But in deep water, the threats are even more severe and totally unpredictable.
We're talking sudden earthquakes or massive underwater landslides that can snap a cable without any warning. And when that happens, traffic gets rerouted, connections slow down globally, and businesses instantly lose real money.
So, what actually happens when a cable inevitably snaps? Honestly, it is a complete logistical nightmare. First, a specialized repair ship has to race out and locate the exact break in the middle of a vast open ocean. Then, robotic equipment is sent down into the abyss to haul the severed ends all the way up to the rolling surface of the sea. Engineers on the deck then have to meticulously reconnect those microscopic glass fibers by hand before carefully lowering the whole shebang back down to the seabed. This entire process can cause global business delays and endless buffering for days or even weeks at a time. Which brings us right back to our big question. Is it actually worth billions? I mean, given the extreme fragility of the glass, the bizarre deep-sea hazards like sharks and anchors, and this absolutely nightmarish weeks-long repair process, does dropping billions of dollars to lay a fragile cable at the bottom of the ocean really make financial sense? The answer is absolutely yes, but it is by no means some get-rich-quick scheme. Consortiums of tech companies and infrastructure investors willingly share the massive financial risk because they are looking squarely at the future. Think about artificial intelligence, widespread cloud computing, immersive virtual reality, and millions of autonomous vehicles on our roads. All of these require incredibly vast amounts of data. These companies know for a fact that the future of technology demands an even faster, exponentially more reliable global network than what we have today.
So ultimately, what this microscopic strand of glass hidden in the dark, freezing ocean really sells is connection. It's not just about the glass itself, or the steel armor, or those specialized ships. It sells connection for billions of people. It links hospitals, banks, governments, and families across continents. It's the hidden economic secret physically powering our entire modern lives. And that leaves us with a fascinating and honestly, maybe slightly terrifying question to ponder. Just how much of our entire modern world is, quite literally, hanging